All right, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. Just want to get to some of the top stories that we're following today, starting with a shooting investigation that is underway right now. This is in Lithonia. I just want to show you the scene where this shooting happened. And you can see police actively investigating there. But what we understand is that the shooting in DeKalb County had a residential street blocked off to traffic. We have learned a short time ago that the scene has now cleared. That's the good news. So no longer causing an issue. But this was on Crescent Ridge Court in Lithonia, in the woods of Welburn neighborhood there in Lithonia. A neighbor telling Atlanta News First that a man was apparently shot several times, taken away in an ambulance. Right now we are working to learn more about what led up to this shooting and whether any arrests have been made. But again, the area where this shooting took place, it was blocked off to traffic for a period of time while police were investigating. But the good news is we've learned that the scene has now cleared and it's open. Traffic is flowing once again. But this is on Crescent Ridge Court in Lithonia in the woods of Welburn neighborhood in Lithonia in DeKalb County. Of course, we're going to keep following the latest on the investigation and bring you any developments as we learn more. Also want to look ahead to the State of the State address, which is happening later on today. Governor Brian Kemp set to lay out his goals for the 2024 legislative session this morning during this annual State of the State address. And I do want to let you know that we are going to be streaming this live here on Atlanta News First Plus. It is scheduled to begin at 11 o'clock this morning at the state capitol. Governor Kemp delivering his speech before a joint session of state senators and representatives. Kemp did provide a little bit of insight on his agenda just a day before at the annual Eggs and Issues breakfast sponsored by the Georgia Chamber of Commerce, telling the crowd that he's recommending $2 billion in spending on a variety of projects, including commuter and freight projects, and that he also wants to help finance several water and sewer projects across the state. In addition to that, he unveiled a proposal for the construction of a new dental school at Georgia Southern University and a new medical school at UGA to help with the state's healthcare worker shortage. My colleague Rebecca Shram has more.
The governor will deliver his speech here at the state capitol before members of both the House and the Senate. We got a sneak peek yesterday at some of his agenda. Take a look. This was the annual Eggs and Issues breakfast sponsored by the Georgia Chamber of Commerce. It was held inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Governor Brian Kemp told the crowd of business and political leaders that he's recommending $2 billion in spending for a variety of projects, a good chunk of that towards some commuter and freight projects that are already in the works. He also wants to help finance several water and sewer projects across the state, and he unveiled a proposal for the construction of a new dental school at Georgia Southern University and a new medical school at the University of Georgia.
With these new assets on the way, we will further address the growing need for healthcare professionals in our state and ensure that we are doing everything that we can to address the challenges across the healthcare spectrum.
The governor's State of the State address is scheduled for 11 o'clock this morning. We will have the highlights for you starting today at noon. At the state capitol, Rebecca Shram, Atlanta News First.
Thank you so much to Rebecca for that report. Okay, also want to let you know that we continue following the latest on the YSL RICO trial, and things are getting pretty juicy here. When I say that, what I mean is that we've been hearing from a former co-defendant, Trontavia Stevens, on the stand. There's his picture right there. There's a video of him on the stand earlier this week, and he's been cross-examined, and he is being cross-examined today as well. Just for a little bit of background, Mr. Stevens, he took a plea deal and turned state's witness. Again, was initially charged and, he pled out and is agreed to testify as a state's witness. That's what he's been doing all week long. And it actually started last week. And he has testified so far that, number one, YSL is in fact a criminal street gang. Remember, this is really at the heart of this RICO trial. That YSL is alleged to be a criminal street gang, a criminal enterprise, something that the defense denies. And number two, he claims that he and Jeffrey Williams, aka Young Thug, co-founded YSL, and he has said point blank that all 6 defendants charged in this case were members of this gang, were gang members. So very strong witness for the state. You know, coming up later on at 1 p.m. today, I'm actually going to have former YSL case defense attorney Suri Chata Jimenez joining us live in studio to give us a little bit of insight. Let me show you a live look inside the courtroom right now. So here is a live image inside of the Fulton County Superior Court courtroom where this trial is happening right now, and you see Jeffrey Williams. You know, his fashion choices have definitely been something that has raised a lot of attention and captured a lot of fascination and curiosity, and you know, looks like an interesting outfit he's put together today with some sort of heart emblem there on the left side. But we have a whole story on our website about even his fashion choices. We have multiple stories, of course, on AtlantaNewsFirst.com telling you the latest developments on this trial. But again, if you just want to continue watching our gavel-to-gavel coverage here of the YSL trial, just go to, this is a live look inside the courtroom now. You can't hear because of me talking, so I apologize if that's bothering you. But if you want to hear what's going on inside the courtroom and continue staying with this coverage, go over to our secondary stream, which is our special events stream, and you can continue watching that live gavel to gavel right now. Meantime, I know a lot of people are trying to get ready for the weather that is to come right now, because tomorrow is going to be a first alert weather day. Okay, first alert meteorologist Rodney Harris is here. And we just are recovering from a storm, and now we're getting hit by something else.
Yes, we are indeed, Joy. So we are already getting you prepared for Friday. As you mentioned, it is a first alert weather day. Not a first alert, but a weather day because of not only storms that will be impacting us on Friday afternoon, but also for the potential of some isolated severe storms, especially as you go south of I-20. So let's get you started here with the timing. And at 7 o'clock on Friday morning, it's completely dry as you drive to work. Lunchtime, a spotty shower or two is possible, but still mostly dry. You can see, though, at lunchtime, we already have some activity in Alabama that's getting closer to us, but lunchtime, we're still mostly good. It'll really be around 1 o'clock and later. That's when we'll start to see some scattered storms popping up. And this won't be like what we saw on Tuesday, where it rained nonstop. Instead, Friday afternoon we'll have scattered storms. So the storms will be sort of here or there. But these storms will be discrete and capable of producing severe weather, especially south of Atlanta. And then between 4 and 5, we're forecasting the main line to move through metro Atlanta. That will bring with it some heavy rain and the potential for some gusty winds. And then after 6 o'clock, the entire system will be east of us. So you'll actually be okay if you have any Friday night plans. This is our severe weather outlook for Friday. And as you can see, everybody's in some kind of a color, so everybody has an opportunity to see at least a severe storm. But as you go further north on Friday, it's going to be cooler, so the risk of severe weather will be lower. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 is the lowest possible risk, 5 is the highest possible risk. North Georgia and the mountains, you're at a level 1, so a very low end risk. For metro Atlanta, north of I-20, we're under a level 2 risk, which means that we could see an isolated severe storm or two. This level 2 risk for metro Atlanta, for perspective, is something that we see a lot in the springtime when we get summertime and springtime storms in the afternoon. And then that level 3 in orange from Atlanta southward, south of I-20, that is an enhanced, slightly higher risk of severe weather. These are your forecast highs tomorrow, and the reason I'm showing you this is because this tells the story as to why we feel like the risk for severe weather will be further south. As you go north into the mountains, you can even see the blue that shows colder temperatures. Cold temperatures don't work with severe weather, so we need the temperatures to be a bit warmer. That's why we don't believe the risk will be that high in the mountains, because you guys will be cooler. Now, as we get further south into metro Atlanta, temperatures will be in the upper 50s, so we have what's called conditional instability in metro Atlanta, which means that if we can warm up a little bit more, then our risk of severe weather will be higher. But right now with the upper 50s, our risk isn't as high. And then as you go south of Atlanta, south of I-20, you're starting to see those 60s pop up for highs. A little bit warmer south of I-20, so you definitely have the highest risk on Friday. So north of metro Atlanta, you will certainly see scattered rain. You'll also see scattered storms, but your risk of severe weather will be lower. And then south of metro metro Atlanta, including the city of Atlanta, will also see rain tomorrow and storms with the moderate risk of an isolated tornado or isolated strong wind. So that's the story for Friday. Again, the timeline is 1 p.m. until 6 p.m. Scattered storms in metro Atlanta, so make sure and stay weather ready. That QR code is at the top of your screen. We also show that QR code on Atlanta News First on our newscast. You can use that to download our First Alert Weather app to keep up to date with the latest videos, your hour-by-hour forecast, First Alert radar. And we don't have any alerts today, but we will certainly see some tomorrow. So make sure you have that app downloaded. That way you'll get those alerts right away. So we'll keep you up to date on our First Alert Weather Day for tomorrow. Today, I will say, is just fine. In fact, before I get to today, I do want to also remind you there's a wind advisory in effect for Northwest Georgia on Friday starting at 7 in the morning. So we're talking to you in Hurd, Polk, Bartow, Cherokee, Dawson, Lumpkin counties, White counties, and everybody northwest of there. Does not include Atlanta, although it'll be breezy in Atlanta. And I do want to just remind you that even if you're not seeing storms, tomorrow's just going to be a windy day. So 44 is your temperature right now. We're up to 60 this afternoon under mostly sunny skies. We will keep you up to date on our First Alert Weather Day. But until then, we hope you guys have a great Thursday. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Maria, for OTT1, it's HD control, right? And not the second one.